So in my previous video, I talked a lot about how lower income families and athletes are having issues enjoying travel sports. I think something like 72% of all people are considering themselves living paycheck to paycheck right now and do not have the finances, let alone the time to invest in something like a travel team. And I think that that's something that we need to look at and find some solutions to. So I want to break this down on every level, starting with the personal, with parents and athletes. I think that there's a culture in travel sports where you're doing it solely to improve your chances at receiving a college scholarship. I mean, you can ask a lot of parents that. In my experience, that's always been the case, is that people want to improve their child's play so that they have a chance to play at the next level. And that's great. I think that that's a great way to do that. However, I think a lot of these parents and athletes sort of start looking at each other, not even just opponent wise, but even their own teammates as competition, and that there's only a limited number of college athletic scholarships available. So they want to try to top them. So there's not really any sort of need to help. They see them as competition for their future, so they don't want to help them. And I think that's a very toxic attitude to have. I'm not saying that everyone has this attitude, but I think it's something that contributes to this exclusivity factor of travel sports. And then I think once you go to the coaching and team management level, I think you're seeing some costs that can certainly be cut down in the future. One thing that I've always griped about is I don't think it's necessary to put, your last name on the back of your jersey every year. I mean, if you're planning on running a team for multiple years, I think it's probably wise to invest in some long-term jerseys that you could recycle through the years. And I think that that'd be a great way to cut some costs for families and make it a little bit more manageable of an expense. I think that there is such exuberant spending when it comes to coaching and team management of little leagues. That that the industrial level can contribute to that because a lot of these tournaments buy-in prices are extremely high. But I think coaches and team managers need to start getting parents involved in the conversation. Like, hey, maybe we don't go to this tournament that's three states over that costs $2,000 to buy into because we don't have the time or money to do that. I think it needs to be a conversation. I think we need to open up how we talk about what tournaments we do. And speaking of the industry level of travel teams, I think that's sort of what I want to end on. The youth travel sports market has grown into a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and I think that that's great. I love that families can go to cities that they've never been to before and spend their money there and then cause that local economy to thrive a little bit. I think that's great. However, what I don't think that we're realizing is just how much money is being poured into this from the personal standpoint. And I think that the culture of the industry of youth travel teams needs to be altered. I think a great way to do this, and it's something I talked about in my papers, is I think doing smaller tournaments on the local level is a great way to get people involved who maybe aren't always able to do that. Maybe they're not available to go to your once a year exclusive tournament. So you need to do something smaller on the local level. I think that's a great way to build brand recognition and continue to build opportunities for people who might not otherwise have it. I think that the culture of travel sports is the biggest issue right now. And I think it's something that totally needs revamped. Like I said, I think the growth of it is absolutely great, but it is dangerous to people who can't afford to catch up with the growth.